Hi. So in this video, we're going to be discussing the concept of local and global variables. Okay, so let's draw this out first. Okay, so let's look at a program. Okay, so integer main. All right, so you would have noticed that the main function, okay, as I've mentioned before, is the starting point of any C program. And just now I mentioned the word function, the main function. Okay, so what exactly is a function? Okay, so that we will cover in more detail in another video. But for now, you can take a function as a block of code, with its own unique name, and it has a opening curly braces and ending curly braces. Alright, so that is the concept, okay, of what we call a function. Okay, we will revisit this topic in more detail, okay, in another video. But for now, we take it that a function has its own unique name. So the starting point of any C program is what we call the main function. Okay, so that is the name, okay, that we use by default, okay, when we start a C program. But you can have your own functions later on, alright, which we will see. And for every function, there is a opening curly brace and closing curly brace. Alright, so these are the three main things of a function, or main points of a function. Now within the function, okay, we can declare our own variables. Alright, so let me just, for completion's sake, put the return 0 over here. So again, this is exactly how your code looks like, okay, by default when you create a C++ code. Okay, now we can create our own variables. Okay, so over here, if I say int num, okay, or float a, b, c. Now all these variables that are within the opening and closing curly braces of a function are called local variables. Okay, so when you say local, what does that mean? That means these variables num, a, b, and c can be accessed within the function where it is declared. So since I've declared num, a, b, and c inside this main function, anywhere from the opening curly braces to the closing curly braces, I'm able to make use of num, a, b, and c. So they are local. Okay, so this concept of local means since they are declared inside main, they are local to main. Alright. Now what about global variables? Now global variables, okay, are variables that are declared outside of any function. So if I were to declare a variable here, I and t, x, y, and z, alright. Now these three variables x, y, and z are considered global variables, which means that they can be accessed by any function. So main is a function, okay. So besides main, okay, in subsequent videos we will talk about creating your own function. And when that happens, these variables x, y, and z will be visible or accessible to all the functions, okay, in your whole program. Alright, whereas the variables here num, a, b, and c, since they are declared within the curly braces of the main function, they are only visible within main. They can only be used within main. But x, y, and z are declared outside of any function, so they are visible and accessible by all functions. Okay, So that is the basic idea of global and local. Now, let me give you a simple example here in the code. So I'm going to declare a variable integer a, okay, and I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to give it a value here, 5. Okay, the value of a equals, and I'm going to print out a over here. Okay, now if I run this, we can see that the value of a equals to 5. Okay, it's quite a straightforward code. I've declared a variable a, I've given it a value of 5, and now I'll print it out over here. Okay, so since a is declared inside main, it is visible within main itself. If I were to declare a global variable, integer x equals to 7, for example, then x, since it is a global, it is outside of main, it is accessible by all the functions in your whole program. So I can do a cout here and say the value of x equals to, okay, and now if I run this, we will see that the value of x can also be printed out within the main function, because x is a global variable. It is accessible by all functions. Alright, so that is the idea of a local variable and global variable. Of course, it becomes a bit more clearer and easier to understand once we bring in the concept of other functions. Okay, right now we only have one function, which is the main. When we bring in the concept of other functions, this will be clearer. Now there's only one more thing that I want to demonstrate. How about local and global variables with the same name? Okay, with the same name. Okay, now let's say I declare another variable here, integer a, okay, as 9. So what is going to happen here? Okay, if I declare a global variable and a local variable, both with the same name, okay, then the local variable will always have the precedence. That means it will always have the greater importance and will be selected, okay, when I am doing a access of that variable's name within the local scope. So if here, when I try to do a printout over here, what will happen is this a will always take reference from the local variable first. If there is no local variable called a, then I will take the global variable. Okay, so in this current example, since I have a local variable a, I will access that first. Okay, and I will not access the global a. Okay, now if I were to comment off this, that means I remove the local variable, and then I run my code. Okay, when I try to print out this line, the program will see that I do not have a local variable called a, but I have a global variable. So since there is no local variable, then I will go out to access the global variable. So it will print out 9 and 7. Okay, so that is the concept of local and global. Okay, so simply put, a local variable will be visible within that function. A global variable is accessible by all functions. In the case of a similar name for a local and global, I'll always take the local variable. Okay, if there's no similar name, then if there's no local variable, I'll go for the global variable. Alright, so I hope that this concept of local and global, this introduction, I would say, is clear. We will come back to this topic again, okay, as we go deeper into functions in another video. All right, so thank you for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye.